Thank you for attending today's webinar about cybersecurity in your ministry, keeping your faith community safe. I will go ahead and share my presentation here. Okay, everybody should see that. Now, let's go ahead and we're going to first start. I'm going to give you a quick outline. This is going to be kind of the what and why about cybersecurity. We're going to go through some general definitions, a little bit about the different types of cyber attacks that occur. We'll do some interactive exercises. And then we'll go into a little bit about some free resources that you can use for your organizations. So we'll go ahead and get started here with the first slide here. Now, what is cybersecurity? Cybersecurity is defined as the protection of computer systems and networks from attacks by malicious actors that may result in unauthorized information disclosure, theft, or damage to hardware, software, or data. Wherever there is technology, there needs to be cybersecurity. So even on your smartphones, you need to be mindful of the websites that you access, or if you access any organizational files from at-home computers or from cell phones, personal cell phones. You need to be mindful of cybersecurity because it all sort of interrelates back to your organization. Now, why is it important? Well, implementing cybersecurity best practices is important for individuals as well as an organization of all sizes, from the small churches to the large churches, to protect personal, financial, and sensitive information. For both government and private entities, developing and implementing tailored cybersecurity plans and processes is key to protecting and maintaining business operations. Now, why is it important to you? And when we look at an organization such as a church, I've kind of broke these up into two categories or two groups. One is the board members, and another group is the leadership. Now, and it's sort of the macro and the micro view, if you will. With the board members, you're in the macro view, so you're understanding the organization's risk profile. That sort of involves the types of risks that cyber risks that may affect your organization. You'll want to ensure proactive risk assessments are conducted regularly by your leadership group. You'll want to stay informed of emerging risks. New cyber attacks happen all the time. New threats are always out there, so you want to sort of stay generally aware and allocate resources to address gaps. So you can allocate resources to an IT group, or possibly purchasing a new antivirus or firewall. In the leadership role, again, you're also going to want to understand your organization's risk profile, the kinds of risks that will be coming your way as far as cybersecurity, which are mostly a Beck attack, which is through email, or phishing, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. Again, the leadership is going to conduct proactive risk assessments to sort of look for any kind of gaps in the organization's cyber infrastructure. And you're going to want to communicate to all applicable stakeholders emerging risks, and identify and request resources to address gaps. Again, if you see that there's a need for an antivirus or a firewall, you can request that from the board to get those resources allocated so that can be purchased and enacted. Now, these are the top 10 ways that we see, especially in claims, churches and organizations are targeted through social networking, things like Facebook, Twitter, Those that is one way that cyber criminals target you. LinkedIn media, any conferences that you guys do that have logins, usernames, job postings, all the way down to dumpster diving. And, actually, when it comes to dumpster diving, I have an interesting story about that. We had an organization that I handled the claim for that actually had some vital information, financial information still saved on an old laptop's hard drive. And the organization they didn't bother scrubbing the hard drive before they disposed of the laptop, which was important. And so it's important to have a data resource policy, which we'll get to in a little bit. But the church or the organization threw away that laptop, and actually it was recovered out of the dumpster by some people dumpster diving, and actually got the laptop to turn back on and gathered a lot of their vital financial information off of it, and actually stole quite a bit of money from the organization. So we were able to, indemnify the insured, for the money lost, but it was definitely a disruption to their business operations and, a breach of their cybersecurity. So these are definitely things to keep in mind when you're using the internet through your organization. Now, Beck attack, which I've already sort of touched on briefly, is a business email compromise. It's a form of phishing that occurs when cyber criminals impersonates a legitimate source to trick employees into wiring money and sharing sensitive information. Phishing is soliciting private information from customers or members of a business, bank, or other organizations in an attempt to fool them into divulging confidential, personal, and financial information. People are lured into sharing usernames, passwords, account information, or credit card numbers, usually by clicking on a link provided. Please see also vishing. Vishing is when they do that all over the telephone, and try to get that information from you. And ransomware is another one that we see target organizations such as yours, which is a type of malware that holds the victim's data hostage and demands payment for the user to regain control. So before you'll able to access your computers again, they'll want payment before they'll be able to turn that on and let you have access. Now, we'll talk first about a little bit more in depth the business email compromise. And the way that those emails kind of look are the following. They may say false invoice schemes where cyber criminals pretend to be business suppliers and request fund transfers to complete an invoice. Or they may act as impersonate the CEO, where the criminal poses as a high-level executive and requesting wire transfers, usually urgently. Those are red flags. An account compromise, where the cyber criminal hacks into an executive or employee's account to request invoice payments directly from vendors of yours. Um, they can also impersonate an attorney that works with your organization, where hackers impersonate a corporate lawyer or law firm to request an immediate transfer of funds. And they always put a high urgency on the need for that to be transferred. Data theft. Criminals pose as human resources professionals or employees in other functional roles to obtain personally identifiable information or tax statements from other employees or executives. So that, I mean, we've all kind of seen the spam emails that are from, the leader of your organization, and the email's a little incorrect, or there's just it's a request that's not something that's of the norm, and those are red flags. And you're not going to want to open those files, or you're going to want to contact your IT department immediately. Again, some signs for the Beck attacks are general terms or lack of personalization, variations to email addresses or company websites, unfamiliar names or images, a sense of urgency or threatening language. Again, that sense of urgency is always what we see a lot with those cyber claims. Also, a request to send personal or financial information. That really shouldn't be ever really done through the organization. So let's now, what can you do to protect against a back attack? Well, what you're going to want to do is educate your employees. Have them attend some training, some webinars, things that will help them outline what to look for in fraudulent emails. Um, that you'll want to implement effective payment protocols. So before a payment is made by your organization, maybe input like a check and balance where you're having to issue a payment, it requires you to send it to maybe two different people in the organization to okay the payment. You restrict access to sensitive data. A lot of times, if you have an IT department, you can lock files so that not everyone on the network can access those files. So that's a great way to restrict the access to sensitive data. You can utilize security features. Again, that's like antivirus things, firewalls you can put in place. And most importantly, everyone, just have a plan in place. Work with your senior leadership to make sure that everyone's on the same page when something like this happens, that there's a set process, and that everyone is trained and knows what that process is and how to actually use it. And these are some email best practices that are very effective in basically helping you stay secure from cyber criminals. So you'll first want to implement employee training, which we've already discussed. Improve password management, and a lot of times that can be you can utilize programs like LastPass that saves passwords and helps generate new ones for you. And also look at how complex you make your passwords. I mean, don't make it just password one. That'll be most likely the first thing that a cyber criminal tries. So you want to add some characters, make it at least 16 characters long, add some alphanumerical characters in there. Just make it difficult for them to try to crack. You can have your IT department enable, or whoever handles your computer, enable multi-factor authentication, where to log into a certain system, the user has to download a authenticator app, where the system will generate a number or in the authenticator app, which the computer will ask for, and that computer will know if that number is a valid number or not. And you have to have that authenticator app synced to the system in order for that to work. So that's a great way to keep people from outside of your organization from accessing things. Be aware of phishing emails. Again, look for the sense of urgency, the incorrect information, the lack of personalization. Those are things that you want to look for in phishing emails. as well as avoid public Wi-Fi. I know it's tempting to, go into your local Starbucks or Panera Bread and log on to the guest network there and knock out a few work emails. But oftentimes, cyber criminals target those public Wi-Fi areas, and they really do a good job of getting into and accessing your computer and systems from those public systems. Um, you want to access email only on a company approved device. Again, that's why earlier I said using cell phones or personal computers at home to access things for work is a no-no, because those systems normally are not as protected, or if you have an IT department, they're not extending that firewall or those antivirus programs to your cell phone or to your personal computers at home. They're only on your work computers. So to be the most secure, you want to stay using only your organization's computers. Utilize endpoint protection solutions. Again, that's antiviruses or firewalls. You want to make sure that you fully log out of email accounts. Don't leave open connections where a cyber criminal can possibly gain access to that. And back up your data regularly. Back it up on a secured OneDrive or some other secured cloud system. Um, that way, nothing can be compromised. And then the next section that we're going to talk about here is phishing and social engineering, the what and the how. And here's a short video that I'm going to go ahead and play for you guys. Change of pace from hearing me talk and drone on here a little bit. So hopefully you guys will hear this.
One of the most common ways for hackers to steal data is through phishing. But unlike your favorite summer pastime, in this case, you're the fish, hackers are the fishermen, and the bait is an email, link, or website designed to compromise sensitive information. You've probably seen these before, ads that promise you've won a lifetime supply of yachts, strangely worded emails from friends or coworkers, or websites that just don't look right. These are all examples of phishing and social engineering scams designed to bait you into giving up valuable information, such as sensitive details or financial data. If something seems fishy, don't click on it. Here's a rule of thumb to protect sensitive information online. If your gut is telling you that something's wrong, you should double or triple check that everything's in order. For instance, if your company's HR representative emails you asking for your bank account and social security number, give them a call first to see if the request is genuine. In most cases, you should never share sensitive information over email or interact with messages from unknown senders. Talk to your manager for more advice on staying safe online.
All right. So, how can phishing affect you? If you fall victim to phishing, the attacker may gain personal information from you, such as user credentials, financial information, social security numbers, and things like that, of that nature. They can use this information to access your account and impersonate you for malicious reasons, including financial gain. An attacker may send an email seemingly from a reputable credit card company or financial institution that requests account information, often suggesting that there is a problem when there really isn't. Now, how can the phishing affect your organization? Well, an organization's cybersecurity is as strong as their employees' knowledge of it. If an employee falls victim to a phishing email and compromises any information, the employee is putting the whole organization at risk. The attack may compromise the organization's information and data. It may also compromise employee information, customer data, corporate intellectual property, and customer financial data. So they can get to a lot of stuff within your organization within a very short amount of time. Recognizing and reporting phishing. And these are red flags of a phishing attack, or a tone that's urgent or makes you scared. Click this link immediately or your account will be closed. Bad spelling, bad grammar, requests to send personal information. The sender's email address doesn't match the company's. It's coming from some crazy websites or internet domain. It's an email that you weren't expecting. You weren't expecting an email from this person, and it's really, or maybe that person's on vacation and somehow they're sending you an email, not something that's expected. And what to do when you recognize and report a phishing incident. And that you want to do the do's, which is verify. Always verify the information. Talk to people within your organization. Make some phone calls. Contact the person directly if it's someone that you know. If you verify that it is a phishing email, report it to your IT department or email the your internet provider, and most importantly, delete it. Get rid of it. Get it off of your system. Don't click any links. Don't click any attachments, and don't send any personal information. Now we're going to go ahead and try some exercises here. And I want you guys to use the chat function and try to spot some of some of the errors in some of these emails. And these are sample phishing emails. Okay, I'll give you a minute or so to look this over, sort of look at the things and sort of try to identify a little bit some of the things that you see that are sort of out of the ordinary. Okay, so we'll go ahead and we'll just start checking these out here. One is here. You can see that the email is incorrect. Again, the urgency, the sense of urgency that's being put into this email. Here, Amazon.com. That's obviously not the correct web domain. And update your address right here where it wants you to put in information. Those are all red flags, as you can see there. Yeah, that is a phishing email. This one is actually a safe email. This is a verifiable web domain. You can see that everything here is from Amazon, nothing misspelt. Again, Amazon all spelt properly. And this is a safe email. Again, this is another sample here of a phishing email. Again, stressing that sense of urgency to transfer funds immediately. Using someone within your organization, trying to, again, push forward you to send that information or send that money as soon as possible. So what you're going to want to do is use strong passwords. This is another, safe tip for best practices when it comes to cybersecurity. You're going to want to create passwords that are at least, again, 16 characters long. Never reuse a password. Again, you can use things like LastPass, which will help you generate new passwords, and also keep them complex. Upper lowercase letters, numbers, special characters, and spaces. You want to make it as difficult as possible for a cyber criminal to try to get into your system. The nice thing about things like LastPass is that they actually will save your complex email or your complex passwords. So you don't have to try to write everything down on sticky notes. It's very useful. It's a very useful system. And it's actually encrypted to get into it in sort of like a vault system. There are very useful systems. If you don't have them, it would be something that I would definitely look into. And leading right into it is the password manager. Again, stores your passwords, and this is just like LastPass. Is a great example. Alerts you of duplicate passwords, helps you generate new strong passwords. And it also, a good feature that it does do is automatically fill your login credentials into the website to make signing in easy for you. The encryption ensures that password managers never know what your passwords are, keeping them safe from cyber attacks. Turning on multi-factor authentication. What is it? And again, that's a code that is sent to your phone or your email to an authenticator app that you could download from the App Store on iPhones or Android. You have security keys that an IT department may implement. And you also have biometrics, fingerprint and facial recognition. The 21st century there's a ton of technology. I mean, even just to turn on your iPhone, it does it through facial recognition. Some of these things can be implemented by an IT department to help keep things, especially financial records or vital financial information, secure. And where should you use multi-factor authentication? And again, that's in emails, vital secure emails, accounts with financial information like an online store, or accounts with personal information like social media. Now, going back to what I originally was talking about when I gave the claims example about the dumpster diving incident and the laptops, that is a great example of why it's important to have record data retention policy within your organization. And that's a written document retention policy ensuring staff and volunteers follow consistent guidance, retention, and destruction of vital information based on what types of documents must be retained and for how long. That's how you want to base it on. Research your state to see what you need to retain and for how long. Some of the items that you may want to keep are tax returns, real estate deeds, mortgages, bills of sale, checks, articles of incorporation, anything financial, and of course, insurance policies. Now we're moving into a section that's near and dear to my heart, which is incident reporting, which is the why, when, and who. And as an old claims person, I kind of relate with this because this is the most important, one of the most important things you can do. And with incident reporting, why report cyber incidences? And a lot of people don't realize that with cyber incidences, there's actually in some states requirements for you to report cyber incidences not only to the insurance company for when they occur, but also to agencies like the FBI or CISA, which we've already kind of touched on them, which I'll have some more information here in the next slide. But Why do they want you to report those cyber incidences? Well, it's for situational awareness, for decision making, so they can track and pattern where a lot of these cyber incidences are coming from. Request response assistance, maybe from your an IT department. When to report a cyber incident? Well, if there is a suspected or confirmed cyber attack or incident that affects core or critical business functions, results in a loss of data, system confidentiality, integrity, and or availability or control of systems, and indicates malicious software is present on critical systems. If any of those things occur, that's when you're going to want to report those cyber incidences. Now, who to report those cyber incidences to? Again, you want to gather your internal team, um, find out who all has gotten that email, if anybody's opened any links. You want to contact your relevant vendors, law enforcement, and government agencies. And those relevant vendors would, of course, include your cyber insurance provider. If you're an insurance board insured, you have AIG's Cyber Edge claims built into your insurance policy. And you'll want to as soon as you are suspicious or you think that there is a cyber breach, you want to call this 1-800 number, the 1-800-292-7345. You'll be patched into a 24/7 cyber triage team from AIG who will help guide you through the process of contacting different IT cyber professionals that can get into your system, help mitigate how much has been compromised, and help get your systems back up and running. And one of the most important things to do is after you call the triage team, don't think that you're done. You're going to still have to visit the insurance board's website and report the claim yourself, or go ahead and contact your agent to go ahead and have that done. But here on the bottom of this slide is the information for the FBI Internet Compliance Center and calling CISA if you want to report those to the federal agencies. Okay, so from the insurance perspective, and this talks a little bit about your policy. So the cyber insurance policy works along with the crime component in your insurance policy. They work together. The cyber insurance focuses on digital assets and risks associated with technology and the internet. The cyber insurance covers intangible losses such as data breaches, cyber extortion, business interruption, legal expenses, and public relations efforts. So the costs for a PR firm or lawyers to fight some of the transactions are covered by the cyber insurance. It can also cover costs of credit card fraud, identity theft, stolen funds, data loss, and restoration for vendors to restore systems that maybe have been compromised, computer system repair, and damage to brand reputation, again, using the public relations efforts. The crime component focuses on physical and financial assets and risks related to theft, fraud, and dishonesty. The crime insurance covers tangible losses, such as losses of money. If they got into your bank account and they took money, it's going to come from your crime policy. Your crime policy is going to be what pays you back or indemnifies you. Our merch, again, also for other securities, your crime will be what indemnifies you for that. It also covers losses that are not covered by other types of insurance policies, such as property insurance or liability. A lot of times, property or liability insurance will not cover things that are related to impersonation, fraud, or cyber attacks. So the next section we're going to is to defend and mitigate cyber risks. Some additional resources for you guys. Now, looking at CISA, the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, the link here, and again, this PowerPoint presentation will be available to you after the webinar here. So all of these links and resources will be available to you to be able to download. But the link here to Secure Our World, CISA, brings you to a page that focuses on teaching employees to avoid phishing, the requirement of strong passwords, required multi-factor authentication, and update business software. So there's a lot of great videos to watch and information that is free to you to be able to access. And it goes without saying that to really keep your organization as strong and airtight from cyber attacks as possible, you're going to want to build a strong cybersecurity culture. So using basic cybersecurity training, that will help familiarize staff with cybersecurity concepts and activities associated with implementing cybersecurity best practices. You want to identify available cybersecurity training resources like what we're providing today through CISA. Cybersecurity training resources on topics like phishing and good email practices are available through professional associations, educational institutions, as well as private sector and government sources. Stay current on cybersecurity events and incidences. Stay up on articles that come out constantly about new cybersecurity threats. This helps identify lessons learned and helps to maintain vigilance and agility to cybersecurity trends. Encouraging employees to make good choices online and learn about risks like phishing and business email compromise. And the next section is going to talk a little bit about what CISA can offer you. So in addition, again, this is no-cost cybersecurity services and tools. In addition to following the mitigation utilizing CISA's free cybersecurity services and tools, you can access it at the website here that we have. Again, lots of free tools. It's a great resource. The insurance board pulls a lot of resources from CISA, and they are free of charge to you. Now, things that CISA can help you for free on their website with is things like assessments, cybersecurity performance goal assessments, looking for gaps in your cyber security systems and helping you realize where maybe you have to add a little bit more resources to make your system a little bit more cyber resilient. They will work in a partnership with you. If you reach out to them, they will provide outreach activities, informational exchanges. They will, work with stakeholder preparedness and provide cybersecurity workshops. They can provide a technical exchange for you, as well as vulnerability scanning. Again, looking for those weak spots within your organization and really helping you guys stay as secure as you possibly can in this day and age that we live. So, really good organization, and again, free of charge. Here are some of the links to download some of the assessments and some of the network hardening systems through CISA. Again, free to you. And some more resources here for cyber defense. Monitoring, hardening networks, logging into systems, just ways that they can help you defend your cybersecurity system and your organization. Again, these are just current cybersecurity article and some additional links and a link from our brokerage as well with some safety risk controls for cyber. All right, that brings us to our question section. So at this time, if there's any questions, go ahead and put them into the Q&A box, and we will try to answer those as best we can. And then if you have any questions, you can always reach out to Chad Cunningham, who's the director of loss control, my boss, and myself, who is the loss control analyst. But otherwise, I thank you for your time today. And as always, if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat or email us separately, and we'll be happy to answer them. Thank you so much.